What's up, Internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, hit that like button. Today is July 9th, Saturday, which makes it day 4 inside the Big Brother house. We're breaking down everything that happened last night on the feeds, a little bit about what happened this morning. Currently, as I'm recording this, they're in the middle of the veto competition. We know who the players are. We also know what the competition will be. There was a little bit of a leak I'm going to show you guys as well. Plus, we're going to talk about who was nominated and kind of where the house is at the moment. First things first, I wanted to talk about something because we like to complain a lot about production. And look, the first episode was kind of bland and let's be honest, it felt cheap, right? It felt like it was just a really quick kind of a deal. But one thing I want to give production credit, because one thing we complain about year after year is the amount of cuts that happen in the feeds. And I haven't looked at stats, but I'll be honest, just from my viewing, it feels like there's less of them this year. It feels like so far, and it's only been 4 days, right? 3 days really of full feeds. It feels like there's less cuts, and I want to applaud production on that because they're doing a better job of like, look, if a conversation is just not something you want to show, instead of cutting to the we'll be right back, just cut to another room. It's that simple. Like, show us something, right? I'm sure you're watching the other rooms where you can go, oh, we don't like this one. Where can we cut to? Cut to bedroom, right? Bedroom number 1, HOH. Right? Like, oh, they're having a bad conversation in the bathroom that we don't like, cut to the kitchen, right? Like, it shouldn't be that hard. It really shouldn't. And it seems like they're doing a better job of that kind of thing this year. And I want to give them credit because we complain too much as this fan base. So when there is something that we should give them credit for, let's do it. Other than that, let's jump into things here. So Daniel's the HOH. He had to nominate 2 people. His numbers are limited, right? So he can't nominate Pooch. He can't nominate Paloma, Alyssa, or Brittany. They cannot be nominated. They can't compete in the veto even. So he's already got a limited number of people. He kind of put it on himself that he's like, look, I don't want to nominate any of the big guys, which at this point is now a named alliance. They have a name, though I don't know how much some of the members are committed to it. It's just kind of there. We'll cover that later. So none of the big physical threats he wanted to put up because he didn't want to make himself a target. He also didn't really want to put up Jasmine because he liked her. He's not going to put up Nicole because that's pretty much his number 1 final 2. Daniel is in alliances that Nicole's not in, that he fully was like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. So him and Nicole are like probably, other than maybe Paloma and Alyssa, maybe the most rock solid 2. Monty and Kyle are up there as far as a duo. And there's a few other duos that are happening, but I feel like the most like if you had to test who is the most committed to each other, I feel like Daniel and Nicole might be those 2. Other than that, he made his nominations because it came down to he had the options of Taylor, Amira, Indy, Michael, and Terrence. Like, that's like 5 people in the house that he pretty much was like, those are my only choices. He went to bed the one night. He was like, I think Michael and Terrence is the best way to go. He had conversations with everybody, but he already made up his mind. Terrence and Michael are the nominees this week. And look, just to be honest, it was an easy vote for him, right? Like, it was an easy nomination for him. Terrence, nobody's going to really get mad. Michael, he sees as a big threat in the first place, so might as well just put him up there and be like, look, I had to put somebody, whatever. I have a feeling, right, unless something changes with the veto, I actually have a feeling Terrence would be the one to go home. I think in this scenario, if everything stays the same, I think Terrence is the most likely to be in trouble of leaving. Especially after some conversations that happened following veto picks and all that. So who is playing in the veto? Obviously Daniel, Michael, Terrence, they're all in there. Amira, Indy, and Turner were picked to play in the veto as well. Let me see here. I'll pull up the picture of the leak that is the competition. So this is a picture that was it was a little bit of a video. We grabbed some screenshots of it. And this is what the veto competition is going to be. I assume there's a little horse there on a track. They're probably going to ride on that thing. And more than likely, it looks like it's supposed to mimic a jousting competition. So I imagine they're going to have a pole of some sort, or maybe it's just their hands. I'm not sure how they're doing it. Or they might be throwing things through those hoops. We'll see how it is. But what I imagine is there's going to be 2 house guests at each time going on a run. Whoever gets the most hoops wins. It looks like there's a gold loop at the end of each track, so that one's probably worth more. It's the smallest one, it looks like, as well. So it's going to be kind of a heat style competition, which I don't think suits Michael very well. I think a lot of people might actually choose Michael because they don't want Michael coming off. That's kind of the other deal right now, is it seems like people would rather things stay the same than changing it all, right? It's too risky for almost everyone if Michael would be the one to come off, because they're not really afraid of Terrence coming off. I don't think. I think they feel okay with Terrence staying on the block. I think they're okay with that. A few people who I feel like are doing really well. There's actually 2 right off the bat that I feel like are in a great spot. Kyle and Monty. Now, they are in almost every alliance that's kind of going on. There's a few named alliances. I haven't made my alliance chart just yet. I'm in the process of it. And I want to give it some time because these first few days are always really fluid. Within the span of a few hours, there was like multiple alliances made. So yeah, it can be a very fluid situation. So I want to give it some time before I really create the first week one, right? Like probably I'll create it and have it finalized right before Thursday's eviction episode, after the veto is done and after the renoms or anything that might happen. We'll have a much better idea of where the house stands. But Kyle and Monty are in almost everything. So there's one group, it's all the boys, it's called the Oasis. You got Kyle, Monty, Joseph, Daniel, Turner, and Pooch. Now, the Oasis itself actually has a smaller group in it called the Motley Crew. There's Daniel, Turner, and Pooch. Here's the thing, though. That group doesn't include Nicole. Daniel has told Nicole everything about it, right? So, like, that's what I mean when, like Daniel and Nicole are maybe the tightest final 2 that we have going on, other than maybe Alyssa and Paloma. So that's alliance number 1 that Kyle and Monty are in. They're also in Mamba, which is named after Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant, number 24 for the Lakers. Well, he wore 8 as well. But, you know, season 24, and they want to have that idea that they're going to have the Mamba mentality, which, funny enough, was what Xavier was a big proponent of. That was like something that he really admired Kobe. So that's what they're going with here. It's another 6-person alliance. It's Monty, Kyle, Michael. It was supposed to be Pooch, but then they flipped it and decided it was going to be Michael instead of Pooch. Well, I mean, Paloma decided that. And then the girls in that alliance, it's Paloma, Alyssa, and Amira. So that's like a 6-person pact that they got going on. Then there's another 6-person alliance. This one doesn't have Monty and Kyle. This one has Paloma, Alyssa, and Amira, and then it's got 3 other girls with them, Jasmine, Indy, and Brittany. Now, these are the one who are kind of being known right now for hating on Taylor. They had a lot of issues with Taylor, and they've like been referring to her as like pageant girl and stuff like that. Now, when all the girls are together being real like catty about it, Brittany always seemed a little uncomfortable. Like, I haven't, like, heard her say anything in particular or say anything to anybody else, but, like, she doesn't really, like, seem to engage with it as much as everyone, right? Like, she might give it, like, a laugh, like a, right? Like, but, like, she seems like she's not as into it as the other girls. And then I also saw Indy and Amira, like, kind of having a conversation. We're like, I don't know, like, maybe we judge Taylor too harshly, right? Like, maybe she's not as bad. So I think some of that is cooling down. But this also brings me to who I think is maybe in, like, the worst position in the house. So while Kyle and Monty, they're in, like, every alliance that are going on. Oh, there's another one too. It's called the Smurfs. It's Kyle, Monty, Jasmine and Paloma. Yeah. So while Kyle and Monty have found themselves in a bunch of, different alliances, Paloma and Alyssa have done the same, right? They're in 2 6-person alliances, just like Kyle and Monty, right? They're also in another 4-person alliance. They kind of have this thing with, like, Pooch and Turner, who also have a final 2 as well. So there's, like, that kind of a thing that's going on. But here's why I feel Alyssa and Paloma, they're in the exact opposite position as Kyle and Monty. While Kyle and Monty and Alyssa and Paloma, on the surface, if you just looked at it, it's like, oh, they have the same number of alliances. They seem to be doing pretty well. What you don't realize is Paloma and Alyssa, they have no vote this week. They can't compete in a competition this week. They don't even know exactly what their fate is at the end of this week. And they're pushing hard for things, right? Like, they are preparing for war, which I guess is good, but they're doing it in the exact opposite way that Monty and Kyle are. Monty and Kyle, they're kind of just like, oh yeah, you know what? Let's we want to work together. Let's do this. I'm down. They're pushing it. And, like, when you're at the top of an alliance and it's gonna crumble, it's only week 1, right? Like, we're on day 4 and you're starting, like, multiple 6-person alliances. That's a problem, right? Like, Monty and Kyle, they're being dragged into a lot of these alliances. They're not the ones, like, going like, hey, let's make a 6-person alliance, right? Like, they're being, like, added on to. Paloma and Alyssa are the ones that are really, like, the head of these 2 6-person alliances. So when they eventually have to crumble, who do you think's the one that's going to take the most heat? The ones who started it. So yeah, I feel like they're almost in opposite positions, even though if you looked at it, it would look very similar, right? It's crazy. Now, other than that, that pretty much wraps up a lot of what happened. We will have the Alliance chart we're gonna get together going soon. There's a lot, and like I said, it changes and it's fluid, day by day. There's one more thing I want to talk to you guys about. Taylor and Michael. So they had a little conversation late last night, and Michael has his whole idea. Maybe he can get himself off the block. If he can't get himself off the block, he thinks he can get some votes. And he was trying to work with Taylor to kind of be like, hey, why don't we try and, work together, right? Taylor then, said goodnight. She went to the bathroom, and in the bathroom, she had a cam talk, and she was like, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. I never thought I'd be working with Michael. Like, she wanted Michael out. She was like, yeah, Michael seems like great. She's like, I saw his picture come up on there and I was happy. But if he's able to pull this off, she loves Terrence, but he doesn't seem to be able to be part of the game and be as good of an ally that Michael might be. Now, Michael's a threat, but he's also a target that's off her back and someone that she can use as actually be like, hey, I need a vote, and he can go out and get a vote for her, where she's not sure that Terrence can do that. Terrence will be a vote for her, but can he get votes for her? And that is kind of the big distinction, right? Like, Terrence will be a solid ally you can trust. He will always be a vote for you. Michael is someone that can help you further in the game. You might not be able to trust him, but he's a bigger weapon. Which do you keep, right? Which do you side with? And that's kind of Taylor's dilemma right now. The reason why I really like this, it shows she's willing to be like, hey, I wanted this thing originally, but that might not be the best plan. And she's willing to adapt and change what she wanted originally. And I love to see that. Love to see it. But that pretty much wraps everything up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this little recap. Tomorrow's the episode. We're going to see the nominations play out and kind of these first few weeks of drama. And maybe we'll even see things that we didn't catch on the feeds that happened, and will be kind of fleshed out more on the episode. And we'll have a better idea of kind of where people's heads are at with the diary room sessions as well. Once again, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, hit that like button. We're going to have a bunch of videos over here that you can check out. My recaps from yesterday and the day before. There's the playlist of Big Brother videos that I've made over there as well. Yeah, I will see you guys next time.